I won't take much of our time today. It will be a continuous exercise, and we'll be talking about several things that can affect our decisions, can affect how we move on in life, that can affect our attitude. So we need to get the right attitude. We need to be sure that we understand ourselves, and you can actually determine what you want for yourself out of life. So today I'll be talking about self-worth. What is self-worth, and how do you know your worth? And if at any point in time you have ever lost your value, your worth, how do you regain that back? And what are the steps that you can take to retain your self-worth? So I'll start with what is self-worth, and we'll begin to take each item one after the other. So self-worth is your self-value, the value that you place on yourself. It's not the value that other people place on you. It is worth how you assess yourself. What do you have? What is in you? What do you have that makes you special? What is that thing that you think you have that can make you add value to where you are, to whatever you're doing? So it is not that you're waiting for somebody to tell you this is your value or this is your worth. So it is something that you need to determine by yourself. It is a way of identifying your strength. Okay? So when you understand that you have strength, you have these potentials, it is very easy for you to work on it and be perfect or near perfect at the things that you do conveniently. So first thing, you need to understand your strength. You need to know your weaknesses. So when you know that these are your strengths, nobody else can tell you that you can't do this, because you know that, yes, this is what you can do, and you have the capacity to do it. So you're not waiting for validation. Most often, people are confused about their self-worth because they're waiting for other people to validate what they're doing. They're waiting for people to tell them that you're good at this area, you're good doing this, you're good doing that. These are things that you have to discover yourself, and let it show. It's not as if you're showing off, but it is what you know how to do, and you can do it very well. So you don't have to get discouraged when people, try to put you down and say that you're not doing it right. So understanding yourself is very important in appreciating your self-worth. If you don't know that you have value, somebody else will make you look as if you're valueless. So if you have a potential, if you have strength in some things, you don't need anybody to say that you can't do anything. So first, understand what you can do, what you're good at, and be prepared to face the challenges ahead, because there is nobody that is perfect, and there is nothing that you can continue to do without having to sometimes fail. So failure, or your attempt, if you make an attempt and you fail at it, is not supposed to bring your value down. It doesn't mean that you cannot continue to do that which you know how to do. In fact, failing at anything at all should make you re-strategize and, up your skills and, get it right the next time. You can fail as many times as possible, but you will never or should never be discouraged, because the value that you place in yourself is still there. Nobody can take away your self worth, or nobody should be able to take your self worth. Sometimes we make mistakes, yes. We make some mistakes, and you feel that you're just down there, and this person or that person is trampling on you and, putting you down. It happens. But will you allow yourself to just stay down there and watch that happen to you? No. There has to be a point when you can actually rediscover yourself, knowing that you've got what it takes to get out of any situation. Now, sometimes when some things happen, it is possible to begin to doubt yourself. Yeah, it's very possible. The just because somebody treated you one way, or called you names, or make you feel as if you're not worth anything, then you begin to doubt yourself that, what am I worth? Am I even worth anything? Yeah, it happens. So the bottom line is that you should first identify your own strength. Yes, because if you don't know what you're good at, that is when it is possible for people to just toss you here and there. But if you know that, well, I can do this, I can do it very well, you will know, you'll be convinced that yes, this is for me. But if you know that this is not your area of strength, and you go for it, yes, there's nothing bad in trying out some things, but when you know that you cannot push it forward, it is better to own up, so that at the end of the day, you don't make a mess or mockery of yourself. So once you have identified your strength, you need to continue to work at it. Don't say, because, okay, I know how to sing, then I can stay there. No. Whatever potential that you have, you need to continue to develop it. You need to, explore more. You need to seek information at appropriate times. You need to, get better every day. So because you're good at something does not mean that you shouldn't go for further training. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't seek help when you need help. It doesn't mean that you should claim that you know everything when it is not possible to know everything. All right. So the best thing to do is to keep working at yourself, making sure that you're a better version of you. Now, sometimes we compromise. It is in human nature to do that once in a while. But once you know that you have compromised and that is affecting your self-worth, it's better to think about it again. Now, most times it is possible for you to lower your standard because you feel, well, you have some kind of emotional attachment to something or to some people or to some ideas, and you're so, emotionally attached to that thing, and you don't even see that people are beginning to, water your value down. But once you realize that you are being taken for granted, once you realize that people don't even appreciate what you're doing, it means that they don't value you. And it doesn't mean that you don't have the value. I hope you get that right. The fact that somebody or people don't value you does not mean that you are not worth anything. It's just that probably they don't need your value. And you don't have to continue to prove your self-worth to anybody. It's not worth it. So people who cannot see that you have value, who cannot see that you can add some, value to whatever thing you're doing or they are doing, it's not worth it. You can't keep struggling, pushing in a bid to convince anybody that, see, oh, I can do this. You don't have to belabor yourself. You don't have to kill yourself, over anything. People that will value you, people that know your self-worth will appreciate it. And don't be arrogant. Don't be arrogant about your value. And self-worth is not arrogance. Okay? So you're not, you know your self-worth, and you're not arrogant about it. Okay? If you get to anywhere and you want to add and they don't allow you, you leave it. That's the point I'm trying. Don't force yourself on people. If people, especially people who don't appreciate what you're doing, especially people who cannot even see the good that you're contributing. So, for instance, if you're in a company or you're working with somebody and the person does not appreciate that which you've brought to the table, it's better to find your own path. So don't kill yourself because you want to prove a point. And if you're trying to help someone and the person does not want your help, it's better to place some value on yourself. Don't die trying to convince anybody to see that you've got what it takes to do anything. Don't force yourself to do that, because at the end of the day, such persons would not even appreciate you. So why do you want to, why do you want to kill yourself over what people will not value? So self-worth is about self-value, is about identifying your own potentials, is about identifying your strengths, is about also knowing your weaknesses, so that you don't flaunt your weaknesses and make people devalue you. So you don't flaunt your weaknesses so that people will not devalue you. So what happens most times is that some people are not good at something and they just want to force themselves to do it, and then the people you're trying to do it for, try to water down your value, and you become depressed, you become sad that, look at all I'm doing, you can't even see it. So what we're saying in essence is that don't force yourself to do what is not within your capacity. And even if you're doing that, if the person you're doing it for cannot see it or cannot appreciate it, it's better to put a stop. Yes. So what's the essence? And don't allow anybody to water down your value, because it's within you. It's what only you can assess. So why do you want to keep asking for validation? Because it's you that can identify what you're good at, and by doing so, people would see. So you're not trying to prove a point to anybody. You're just trying to be yourself. You're just trying to, do the little or the much you can do, and you want to be at peace with yourself. Now, sometimes it is possible for you to know that you've got this value, or you can add this value to things or to people, and the people don't even see it. The people cannot even see what you're doing. The what you're doing is not showing. Why do you want to kill yourself? And even if you try to do all your best and the people still do not appreciate it, it does not make you less of who you are. I hope somebody got that right. The fact that people or some persons don't see or cannot appreciate what you have that potential that you have does not make you less of who you are. So you are what you are because you're convinced that yes, you have the capacity to do it. But if you now allow other people to be the judge and the jury over your own life, then there's going to be a problem. There's going to be problem. So it is a self you know decision you have to make. You have to make that decision to know yourself and to thy own self be truthful. Be truthful about who you are. Be truthful about what you can do. Be truthful about what you cannot do. Okay? So if you can't do something, why say you can do it? And if you're good at something, don't just stop there. Try to improve your skills. Now, by um, by 7:30, I'm going to stop talking. Then I'll allow people to ask questions. Then I'll ask questions. I'll ask some questions. And for those who are watching, we're going to give some giveaways today. And that is what we'll be doing every month. So when we come online to discuss, to share experiences, to understand some things together, we're going to be doing giveaways. And today, I'm going to give just 5 people because we don't have many people online today. I thought that we'll have so many people so that people can benefit. We had announced that we're going to give 10 lucky people that will participate actively. We said we're going to give them our New Year giveaways. So this program, live session on Women's World channel, will come up every month. And for every month that we do that, every month end, yes, for every month end that we do our programs, we give giveaways. So if you have, you can share with your friends. If you're watching, try and subscribe. Try and tell your friends to subscribe so that you can always win giveaways every month at least. So that's what we're going to be doing from now to the end of the year by God's grace. So make sure you subscribe and make sure to share the links with other people so that by February, when we're doing the February edition, we'll have a lot of people who are going to win gifts. So now, if we have questions, we can drop it on the chats. We can drop our questions. If we have questions, we can drop them. Okay. We can drop our questions though. So I'm waiting for questions. If you're having difficulty in sending questions, you can send it to my WhatsApp number. If there are things you need to clarify or things you want to learn more about. Okay, let me give you my WhatsApp number that you can send your name and your... So I have 6 people online already. We have 6 people online. We have 6 people online. Oh, 7 people now online. Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to check if we have chats. So we don't have chats. Okay, what are some of the symptoms of low self-esteem? How can you tell that a woman has low self-esteem? Thank you very much for that wonderful question. Now, a low self-esteem is when you don't rate yourself. Let me use that language. You don't rate yourself at all. You're not confident about that which you carry. you're not bold enough to express yourself. You're not bold enough to express positivity wherever you are. And how can we tell if somebody has a low esteem? From my own experience, people who have low esteem, they're not so outspoken, and they don't want to be critical. Yes, I think most times they don't want to be critical. They want to, every time that you engage them in critical discussions, they tend to, sometimes avoid such things. They just want to be on their own. They just want to go jejely. They don't want to, and when you even ask them to come forward to do some things, they are likely to reject because they are not sure. And the problem about having a low esteem is that people who are not even as smart as you are, people who are not smarter than you, would want to take up things that you should normally do or you should normally engage with. And by the time you keep doing that, you are putting yourself up for, being watered down. It is not that you don't have that value. People they just water your value down because you cannot come forth with that which you're made up of. So people don't even rate you. That's the easiest way to put it, because you are not showing forth that which is within you. So thank you so much for that wonderful contribution. So my friend goes home with 5,000 naira for today. Now, I've said that people who participate actively in the discussion will go home with giveaway. So the first giveaway is 5,000 naira. And I'll drop my WhatsApp number that you can drop your details. So my WhatsApp number is 0805 600 3556. 0805 600 3556. So I'm waiting for other contributors. So if you have contributions, I might also want you to make some contributions about how you think that people can get away from being can get away from having a low perception of themselves. How can a person get out of that box where you or somebody else has put you? It is not that you don't have it, but you're just not using all of your God-given potentials because of circumstances, because of what people will say, so how do you get out of that? Or when you have chosen or done something that is below or beneath your standard, how do you get out of it? So these are things we need to begin to interrogate. And one thing that I think is also important: how do I improve yourself if you have low esteem? Yeah, that's what we're talking about now. One thing I think that is missing is that sometimes we don't do self-assessment. You don't assess yourself. Now, how have I been doing this thing? What have I been doing? Why do people see me this way? Why is this person judging me this way? Now, these are things that you need to do almost every now and then. Assess yourself. Be critical about yourself. Weigh what you're doing about yourself. And once you are able to do that self-assessment, it will help you to improve yourself. And that is the beginning of getting out of low self-esteem. Now, another question here is, can low esteem influence one's choice of romantic partner? Of course. Of course. Most times, women or men, as the case may be, You think you don't deserve more. Let me just stay here, and, just patch it up with this person. Of course. So the decisions you're making them because you think that you don't want more than this. Yes. So it is very possible. And sometimes, there are so many times you see somebody and say, how did you end up here? How come this is what you're doing? Because the person has refused to see his or her value, his or her self-worth. And these things matter a lot. Sometimes people say, don't settle for less. Now, it's not because you cannot go for something, you cannot go for something less. It's because if you go lower than your standard, that is what people will use to judge you. So people who are not, who don't rate as much as you do, will begin to judge you by their own standard, whereas your own standard should have been used to judge them. So that's the problem. Once you think that you don't deserve more, I'm just okay here, I just want to put my head here, it is very possible to make the wrong choice. It is very possible to stay where you're not supposed to stay. It is very possible to just accept. Some people say it is fate. No, it is your decision to stay where you are because you feel, I don't deserve more. I don't deserve more. Let me just manage what I'm doing. So, number one, you need to reassess whatever you're doing. You need to reassess yours critically now. It is very easy to judge other people and say, why are you in this? Why are you doing that? How about yourself? What am I doing? Why are you doing this? So I always say that you should be able to process it. And processing things means that you're putting everything down. You're being objective. Now you weigh all of the options and you realize that, okay, well, I can do this because of this. Why am I doing this? Is this okay for me? So at the end of the day, it is about you. It is about the options you're making. It's about the value that you've placed on yourself. It is not somebody else's validation. You're not living your life because somebody has told you that, yes, you are worth much more than this. So even if somebody had told you that, wow, you are the best in something, and you know within yourself that, no, my capacity no reach that side, that's being truthful to yourself. So you're not waiting for anybody. Sometimes when people say that you're beautiful, I said, yes, I know. It's not that I'm being arrogant. It's just because I know. So if I write well and somebody says, oh, you're a good writer, I say, oh, thank you. The person is not saying, something new to me because I already know. I know myself. Now, someone is asking, what activities can one do to develop self-esteem, like practically? Now, if you don't put yourself up for things, for activities, you won't know the level that you are. Sometimes we judge ourselves wrongly too. Maybe we're not being truthful, or we are not in that realistic position yet. You say you think that, okay, I can do this much, and at the end of the day, when you're put forward to do it, so that is experience. That is experience. So if, for instance, you think within yourself that I can add this value, and you go out in the field and you can't do it, you have to own it. Own up that this is not my area of strength. So that's the reason I said you need to put yourself up for reality. You need to be practical about things. Sometimes some people will say that, well, I'm a good public speaker, I'm a good master of ceremony, I can speak English very well, I can do this, I can do that. Then you tell them, okay, come and handle this event. And the next thing is, they just fade out. They don't even know what to say. So in such situations, you will now know your true self, that I can't do this. This is what I can do. So if you don't try it, if you don't try things out, you won't know. If you're not the type that you engage with people in critical discussions, you won't know your strength, even in public speaking. If you're a good motivational speaker, you have not gone out to even gather people together and say, okay, let's talk about these things, you will not be able to rate yourself. So most times, it is better to allow yourself to experience and explore. Some people don't even talk in their own homes. They don't engage in critical discussions. And so when they get out, they are scared even to make their opinions heard. They are scared to even voice out if they have contrary opinions, because they have not even been practicing it at home. So most times, as a family, if you don't allow your children to air their views, in most African homes, I think we do some sort of injustice to our children. You don't want to hear their opinions about things. You don't want to know what they like. You don't want to know their preferences, And so they don't even have the courage to speak out, to know that, yes, they can reason out in situations and make their opinions heard. So in practical terms, we need to begin to practice from the home, from small gatherings, okay? From, between friends. Talk to yourselves, do things together, hear your views about what you think, and don't just keep quiet. Sometimes we find ourselves in situations where we're not comfortable with, and we just keep quiet because we feel that it's just okay. No, it's not okay. If it's not okay with you, then it's not okay. And if it's something that you can adjust, fine. But if you can't, it's better to say that I'm not comfortable. And for every circumstances, there would always be, different ways of approaching it. For someone who has got self-esteem before, who has got some kind of self-worth before, but who has lost it because of one thing or another, things would happen. There's so many things that can happen to one that will make you, devalue yourself. There's so many things we can talk about, okay? That there are so many events that would have happened in your life that you think, wow, so this is me, I'm in a mess, okay? You can get up and trace your steps back to when you were you. Don't stay where you are wallowing in silence. No. Get up, get yourself back. That's you. Get it back. And, if there are things you need to run away from, run. If there are things you need to stop doing them. If there are people that you need to move up to work with, just go and meet them. So that you begin to reason critically. So that you begin to express your views. Yes, thank you, Vivian. Parenting is key. Children should be intentionally nurtured to build respectful confidence. Thank you very much. Now, it is not so, I've said it before, that you don't have to be arrogant about anything. You know what you know. The other person knows what he or she knows. But you need to reason together and, take anybody through your thought process. And at the end of the day, the better judgment will prevail. You don't have to say that, I know this is right. Hear the other person out. Express yourself, because you know that you've got some thinking capacity too. So it's not just about the other person. You too, you are a thinking human being. You are a thinking rational human being, and you should be able to contribute minimally to any discussion. And it's also by practicing how to do this. If you do this quite often, if you interact more with people, if you engage with tasks, take up responsibilities, then you'll be able to discover yourself, you'll be able to discover your strengths, you'll be able to know your potentials, and you'll be able to work at some of the things that you need to work on. So, knowing your self-worth, knowing that you have some value, helps to improve your overall being. Now, once you have self-worth, you get to anywhere with your heads up high. Okay? Your head is up high because you want to listen and be able to contribute to whatever it is that people are saying, however little. Okay? You're not just going to sit there and allow people to feed you with things that will not add up at the end of the day. So you need to develop your self-confidence. You need to develop your self-worth. You need to reassess and assess your value, okay, every now and then. And you need to check whatever you're doing by the day, okay, weekly. It's not an easy thing to do, but you need to do that as often as possible. For some people, they wait till the end of the year to assess their life. But some people, maybe some months, maybe 3 months, 6 months. So it depends on you. At every point in your life that you think that something is not going right, you need to sit up, and reassess. If you're doing something and you're constantly failing at it, then something is wrong. If you're somewhere you're not enjoying it, you're doing a job you're not happy with, then you need to reassess, how can I do it in a better way? What do I need to do to make me enjoy what I'm doing? So it's not every time that you need to quit a job because you're not enjoying the job. It could be about the way that you are doing it, or the things that you are doing. So you need to be more creative around whatever you're doing, so that at the end of the day, you're contributing your own quota, you're adding value. You're not just where you are. Several years back is still where you are now. It doesn't add up. So we should try as much as possible to develop our self-confidence. We should try as much as possible to up our skills, develop ourselves more, because if you don't know some things, you will not be bold to speak up. Yes, if you are the type that you're not deep in thinking, you're not deep in discussion, people will not see any value in you. And people would not invite you to anywhere where there is reason to do critical discussion. Or maybe you have to do a brainstorming session with some people because they know that you don't have what it takes. Nobody will call you. So everything we're saying today is about you. It's not about any other person. It's not about we want people to validate you. It's not about wanting the next person to say, yes, you have done well. No, it's about you saying to yourself that, yes, I think I'm doing well. I think I'm doing well. And for you to be able to assess yourself at every given point in time where you think, even when things are going right, you need to reassess it, that what else can I bring to the table? What else can I add to humanity? What else can I do to make my worth relevant to where I am? So these are things that you need to keep doing, once in a while. And, parents should also try as much as possible to start all of this from the home. The way that some parents bring up their children make them to have low self-esteem of themselves. They can't even speak where their mates are speaking. Not to talk of talking when elderly people are talking. Not to even ask questions in classes is as bad as that, really. Because the way parents, they don't even make them talk. Some parents don't even allow their children to talk. So when you have not talked at home, where will you get the boldness to talk outside? These are things we need to reconsider as parents, and as children, as women, as girls. We need to constantly reassess ourselves and make sure that we know our value, we know our self-worth, and you can actually let it show. Let people appreciate you for who you are, not that you're trying to prove anything to anybody. So today I have 3 people going home with 5,000 naira each. So Roxy, Sumaya, and my very good friend Vivian. So all these people are going home with 5,000 naira. My WhatsApp number is 080 5600 3556. 080 5600 3556. Now, it's just WhatsApp only. Don't call. So send your name, your account details, and after this program, we'll send you 5,000 naira for participating. So feel free to comment, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your students that we'll be doing these every month end, and there will always be giveaways for people who participate in the discussion. Thank you very much for joining me today, and if there are other things that we need to talk about, we'll make sure that we add them up online. Don't forget to join our Facebook page. We can have several updates there. Women and Girls Empowerment Foundation International, that's our Facebook page. And on YouTube, we're Womensworld channel. So Womensworld channel's live session will be every month end, and there will be giveaways every month. But on Facebook, we're there every day, and we do several discussions. Have a good day, and thank you for joining.